what's on. Probably upstairs. Yep, it is. Lovely. Hold a moment, sinner. You're not from around here, are you? Fellow wandering soul? Eternal inhabitant of the road? I thought so. Airlots is the name. My aspiration is to travel the whole wide world. Although it's a fair bit smaller than it used to be so far as dreams go. It's a lot more realistic than you might think. Danger still lurks in every corner and around every bend. Even so, this sinner's got nerves of steel. He's a born explorer, Airlock. There's no land too distant or place too far behind. What is that I spy smoking out of your back? A log, if I'm not mistaken. Give it over, if you would. Aha, I thought so. A record of fantastic vistas and unforgettable sights. Or kindred spirits. Amaro of a feather. Excellent, excellent. 'Tis only right that I share with you such wondrous experiences as you have with me. A collection of amazing vistas I catalog myself that I guarantee will rival the best you have ever seen. Norvrant may be a shadow of its former glory, but there's still joy and excitement to be found if you know where to look, my friend. So I implore you, look, look, look. Follow my footsteps, savor every moment of the journey, and then, when you feel you have discovered every secret this realm has to offer, start again. I promise you won't be disappointed. I'm looking for work. I might have a spot for another guard. Oh, friend of the XIV. Hoping to meet someone in Alisaie, are you? And I shall be your guide. I was about to set off for our outpost there, as a matter of fact, so we can leave right away. Assuming we have everything we need. All set. And off to the unforgiving sands we go.
Arang. From this parched earth, the nation of Nabath, Arang once rose. When I journeyed here, long ago, I spoke with a sun-weathered elder. He told me Arang meant majestic land in the language of his people. And so it might still be, were it not for the light's unrelenting onslaught.
Oof, no matter how many times I come here, the heat never fails to catch me off guard. Don't be surprised when the temperature drops at night, though. The sky is still bright, of course, but it gets brisk enough to make you shiver. Now, the Exarch letter said I was to take you to the inn at Journey's Head, which is where this Alisaie friend of yours is staying. But that's a fair old distance, so I propose we make a stop at Mord Souk to break up the trek, allowing me to attend to some business and you to enjoy the local hospitality. Sound good? Good. Alright, you lot, I'm off, and I'd better not see the goods covered in sand when I get back. Right, we head southwest, straight as an arrow. Stop a moment. Here a moment. This is your first visit to Amarang, is it not? Before you cross the River of Sand, you need to turn around and feast your eyes on that. They built them big, didn't they? That's Castle Charles, the fortress meant to protect the northern reaches of Nabath Arang. Seeing what was left behind, I believe it when they say that it was once one of the Norvright's mightiest nations. At least until the flood came along. Great chunks of Nabath Arang's lands were lost to the light, its great city included. Few who survived didn't see much point in staying. Most of them, anyway. No, not many chose to come here these days, not with everything in ruins. I mean, that hulking great fortress has become little more than an Amaro roost for me and my caravan. But not everywhere is as deserted as this place. Just wait until you see Mord Souk. Let's press on, shall we? Here we are, Mord Souk. By the blessed shadow, I love this town. Mord Souk. Not just for Mord, but Humes and all manner of others, too. Has long been a refuge for folk displaced by the flood, so the population is nothing if not diverse. Oh, have you ever met a Mord before? They might look like shifty little blighters, but the more welcoming lot you could never wish to meet. Speaking of which, we should pay our respects to Master again. I'll go ahead and let him know that you have arrived. introduce yourself to Master Gengen. So, this is a morning.
Master Gengen, this is the friend of the Exarch I was telling you about.
Very good, very good. Though friend or no, all are welcome in Mordsook.
Souk is Mordish for city. As things stand, this souk boasts the largest and busiest marketplace in all Armorang. You'll find ore from the mines here, of course, but all manner of other things too, many of them rare. As I told you before, not many visit Armorang by choice, but Mordsook's a different story. Merchants come from realms around to purchase the relics the Mord dig up.
Aye, that they do. For Mord do not dismiss the spoils of the earth. We clean them and polish them and reveal to the world their true value. That is why they come here, come from far away, come with much money. And so our souk is always busy, busy, busy. No such thing as a thing no one needs.
You say that every time, Master Gengen. Some sort of family motto, wasn't it? Or perhaps a Mord philosophy, for which we should all be very grateful. Would that everyone was so willing to take in refugees regardless of race or creed. Now then, if you intend to spend any time here, you'll want to gain the trust of the locals. And there's a little custom all newcomers are expected to observe.
The cracking of the coin purse. You buy one thing from the market. Price can be low or high, just as long as you buy.
As the good Mord says. In fact, the Exarch sent a little something to cover this very expense. A Verbert gold piece, no less. The first I've held in years.
Verbert gold? Real Verbert gold?
Here, newcomer, crack your coin purse with me.
Oh no, you want my good newcomer? I have jars and pots all smooth and shiny.
Over here!
Come and look.
You buy, you buy?
Enough of that! Calm, I say! This one must still journey through the barrens. Nothing bulky, nothing heavy, no pots. Nothing better for the road than a full belly. Spend that piece at Ronron's place, yes? Eat for 3 before you leave.
A fool! Verbert in honor seems a bit rich for buying a dented pan and bowl of worms. Did the Exarch lose to you at cards or something? Ronron's shop is best for eating. Crack your coin purse and gorge on the delicious delicacies. Welcome to Ronron's, traveler. I have wares to empty your purse and fill your belly. Take your time, stare and sniff before you choose, but no drooling over the merchandise, yes? That's my ever-burning bounty, made with the best parts of the lizard, cured with special spicy spices. Some find the smell challenging, but it'll warm you up on chilly desert nights. Oh, you'll like these. Chewy skewers. Find small frogs hiding under rocks, spear them with stick, and roast over fire. Crackly on the outside, gooey on the inside. Perfect for a snack. I call that mush loaf. The middle's stuffed with bittersweet cactus fruits, so even if the bread dries out, it's still moist inside. Keeps you going in the eat. Everyone's favorite. Plump white worms slathered in honey. Once you eat a glazed wriggler, you'll never want any other treat. They all look tasty, yes? Which to choose? Which to choose? Mush loaf. Ah, very wise. You won't wither in the sands with a gut full of cactus fruit with filling. You have the gold. And done. One perpetrite to honor buys you 40 loaves of bread. I'm not looking for bread. Every last mouthful. What an appetite! What a belly! A new legend is born in Mordsuk. Consider your coins first cracked. I am pleased to accept your custom, and Gengen will be pleased that you honored ours. Keeping the merchandise down, yes? No returns. I am honored to have been chosen. Go to Gengen. Let him know that your coin purse has been most decidedly cracked. I've never seen anyone eat so much of Ronron's cuisine in one sitting. You have a stronger stomach than I. I was watching from here, Sarah. You honored our custom, and with great relish. You will always be welcome in Mordsuk. If you need anything in Amarang, we are here to provide. Cracking the coin purse is only the beginning. We have wares for every occasion, so feel free to spend to your heart's content. You have courage, my friend. Ronron's wares are more exotic than harmful, but I don't envy you the bellyache you'll have on the morrow. Right, now that you've eaten, I expect your ego to get back on the road. Would you mind if we delayed our departure a touch? I have a few deals left to close before I conclude my business here in Mordsuk. Oh, offering your services, are you? Well, an assistant would certainly help hurry things along. I've received for some goods that need picking up from the market. All properly paid for, you just need to do the lifting and carrying. I'll go and take some of the last minute haggling then. See you in a bit. Ooh, lovely, lovely pots. Hey, no touching. That merchandise is spoken for. You couldn't possibly change my mind with a better offer. What? Cassard sent you? Well, why didn't you say so? I wouldn't dream of selling his goods to a higher bidder. Oh, no, no, no. Not about the relics, was it? All packed in that box there. Handle with care. Lift with your legs and not with your back. You came in with Cassard, yes? Good, good. I can finally stop thinking about that sack. Please take your prickly purchase. Now then, what was I doing again? Cassard sent you, did he? Right, yes. What kind of core was it again? I don't know, of course. It would explain the box I have for you. It's all yours. Don't tell me you've been around the entire market already. Aye, that's a lot, all right. Good work. And quick work, too, considering you've not set foot in the place before. I thought you'd wanted to sit in the city like the XIV, but something tells me you're not a stranger visiting strange lands. Unfortunately, your efficiency presents something of a problem. I'd hoped to conclude all my business before you returned, but it seems to have been some confusion about one of the orders I placed. I'd have to drag in my middleman and sort this mess out. I'm sorry to make you sit around and twiddle your thumbs. Cassard, it seems like an age since I last saw you. Oh. Well, if it isn't the lovely Tesleen. It's been a while, but your timing couldn't be better. This lady was on her way to meet Alisaie with Alisaie. I'm supposed to be taking her to your corner of the desert, but a misplaced order has commanded my attention. Wait, I know who you are. Alisaie has told me so much about you. You're Sarah, aren't you? I knew it! How wonderful to meet you in the flesh after hearing all those stories. I'm Tesleen. I work as a carer at the inn, and I've gotten to know Alisaie quite well since she took up guard duties there. Do you want me to take over as Sarah's guide, Cassard? My shopping's all done and packed for the road, so it would be no trouble. That would be a great help, thank you. Well, it looks like you're able to head straight out after all. My caravan and will be in the area for a while yet. Seek me out when you've had your fill of Amorang, and I'll send you back to the Castario. Take care with your desert crossing. A good fortune with meeting your friend. I'll be around when you're ready to head back to the XIV. Alisaie has been desperate to see you, Sarah, so let's get you to her sooner rather than later. Eaton isn't too hard to find, really. You can actually see the top of the rock spires from here. We just need to swing around the ridge and then head south. Come on, I'll get my supplies together and we'll meet you outside. Yes. Oh, from Gengen too. Let's do that. Greetings, friend. You like helping people, yes? Maybe you can help me out too. You see, my son Gun makes him very proud, but very worried. He works very hard, too hard for his own good. He follows orders, yes. Follows them until someone tells him to stop. This is very dangerous, bad for his health. I need you to speak to him, to persuade him to rest. He should be near the Red Sarai, probably leaving no stone unturned in his search for relics. Please, tell him his father orders him to stop. All set. Oh, I should probably mention the wildlife. While most of them will leave you be if you keep your distance, the local coyotes have learned to prey on folk heading home from the markets. I usually swing a sword well enough to fend them off, but I may have loaded myself down with too many bargains today. Do you think you can handle out any beasts that try to make a meal of us? I thought you might. Alisaie was always saying how much... let's get going, shall we? Sorry, there wasn't much time to shout a warning. Were you bitten? Those things can be nasty. Yeah, hardly a match for you, it seems. I always thought Alisaie was strong, but in her mind, she was never... Now it makes sense. Well, we should push on. It might be best if you scout ahead and clear out any coyotes that have our scent. I'll wait here so you can find it without any distractions. Thank goodness you're back. I can hear it howling and snarling from here. Frightful creatures. Let's hope the rest have seen your handiwork and know no voice now. I need to get the supplies back to the inn. This is it. Thanks to you, I didn't have to drop my shopping even once. Come to think of it, I'm glad I didn't make the trip alone. Seems you ended up escorting me. I'll have to repay the favor somehow. But first, let's head inside, shall we? Welcome to the inn at Journey's Head. Might be your first visitor from the Crystarium since Alisaie arrived. It's not much, but it's home for the afflicted and a handful of carers. The afflicted? You don't know. I don't think I've met anyone besides the Alisaie who was so unfamiliar with our situation here. Most folk have grown up knowing someone who knew someone. I may leave out something obvious, so it might be best to have Alisaie give you the full explanation. That theme. Now, where is she? I think she might be out on patrol. You could wait, I suppose. Why not go and surprise her? She usually takes a look at things from the watchtower first, so you might be able to catch her there. It's not far. Head out south and out the south side and you'll see her. I'll stay behind in case she comes back while you're gone. That gate seems a bit weird. Pretty sure Alisaie's stride is a bit longer than this.
Get back here!
Is that... It can't be.
Impressive.
Just a lesser sin eater. Nothing to write home about. I knew you'd turn up sooner or later, but I had been hoping for sooner. How are you? We've fought them to a standstill, then. The Exarch did say that the Empire seemed to have drawn back when he last looked in on the source. But without knowing for sure how fast time was passing there, I couldn't help worrying that a lot might have happened since then. I'm heartily relieved to hear that it hasn't, just as Alphino must have been. As you can imagine, both he and Urianger were desperate to hear the news from home when I arrived. I haven't actually seen Thancred and Y'shtola yet, but they will have heard all the latest developments from the Exarch by now, or should have at least. When I think of how frantic Tataru and the others must be, I want nothing more than to rush back and reassure them. But we still haven't found a way to reverse the summoning. And even if we had, we couldn't just ignore Urianger's vision. He may use 10 words where 1 would suffice, and they may often obscure as much as they reveal. But on this matter, he was as clear as day. I do not doubt for one moment that he saw what he claims. Nor how difficult it must have been to speak about them. The 8th Umbral Calamity and your death aren't exactly topics for idle conversation. As much as I might want to go home, I don't want to go home to that. We can't allow the rejoining to happen, which means we have to save the first from the Sin Eaters. That great wall of white is a remnant of the Flood. 100 years ago, the balance in the First tipped decisively in favor of light. From that moment, it rose and swelled with each passing day, and then, without warning, it burst forth like water from a broken dam. A colossal wave of pure light, drowning everything in its wake. Only Norvrant was spared. For the most part, living things are composed of ether of various different aspects. But when exposed to such a flood, their etheric harmony is shattered, and their natural form breaks down. Then they either perish, or are warped into mindless abominations. Yes, that's how the Sin Eaters came to be. They were once living creatures, or people, that were caught in the path of the Flood. Once the change is wrought, there is no going back. In that instant, they are gripped by an insatiable appetite for ether, and will happily gorge themselves on any living thing within reach. But even that is not the worst of it. The stronger Sin Eaters can plant light in us, like seeds in soil, corrupting our ether, and triggering the birth of new monstrosities. They are creatures of base instinct, that exist only to feed and to multiply. They feel no pity, know no remorse, and are utterly deaf to reason. Which is why they must be destroyed. Every last one of them. The infirmary is full of the Sin Eater's victims, left here to spend their final hours waiting for the change to overtake them.
It's just a matter of time. More for some, less for others. Those patients will all become monsters in the end. And, to add insult to injury, the afflicted are feared, shunned, cast out of society and exiled here to the edge of the world. The only good thing I have to say about this hellish place is that it has served me well as a training ground. Cecilyn and the others have also been kind enough to share their knowledge of the Sin Eaters, which is knowledge I can now share with you, while you help me finish my patrol, of course. Here's what we'll do. I'll take the east side of the inn, and you clear the west. That way you can have an undiluted experience with the resident terrors. These marks on your map are where the usual trouble spots are. You can assume that any beast with a white hide or carapace is a Sin Eater, but you'll know for sure soon enough when they come slavering for your ether. Remember, it's kill or be killed with these monsters. Once you have slain whatever's prowling around out there, we can rendezvous back at the north entrance. Good hunting. How did you fare? Ah, I thought there might be one or two lurking out in the fringes. Nothing out of the ordinary for this area. I expect you noticed it yourself, but individually these lesser sin eaters are no more deadly than any natural predator you might encounter in the desert. So when they appear in numbers that they pose a threat, much like the void scent, they have an unfortunate tendency to flock to the strongest of their kind. Thus, when a powerful sin eater goes on the hunt, it might be attended by a veritable swarm of the weaker kin. Imagine an army of such creatures descending on a village or hamlet. That's the basic idea behind my patrols, to cool the ranks often enough that their numbers won't be overwhelming when the big ones come out to play. And you've certainly helped on that front. Let's report our victories to Tesleen, shall we? She hasn't been telling you stories, has she? Oh, gods. Alisaie tells me you helped out on a patrol. You have our thanks. And I apologize for leading you one battle to another ever since the moment we met. In any case, I'm glad to see the two of you found each other. I have no idea how bad Alisaie miss your company. Everything is always... If Sarah here, she would... That's an exaggeration. And I don't sound like that either. I've simply trying to view matters from another perspective, and I respect Sarah's methods. Honestly, after seeing her in action, I can understand why. The way she leaps into the fray without hesitation is really something to behold. I might be a little smitten myself. I'm only teasing. Though I've no doubt she deserves all the admiration she gets, just as you do. This is what I get for sharing. Now we'll just head on to another patrol. I'd love to lay out a welcome meal, but the duties I put off when I went to the market are still waiting for me. Ah, there are 101 things that need doing. I'm sorry, but would you mind waiting here with Alisaie? One twiddle our thumbs while you work yourself to death. Surely there's something we can help you with. I could do with a hand, it's true. Thank you. You can help by helping me start the larder, Alisaie. While we do that, could you attend to a few patients, perhaps? There are 3 in particular I need to visit. It's just a matter of saying a few words to them and seeing that their skin hasn't encaked in sand. Their names are Balnil, Toden, and Halric. They might not give them much weight in the response, but I promise they'll be pleased to meet someone new. It will do them good to see a new face. There's not much way in the way of novelty around here to distract them from their worries. I would speak more on the subject of the Sin Eaters, but let's see this task finished first. Thank you. work here is done. You've seen the patients. How were they? Good. That's good. I knew they would enjoy meeting you. I am concerned about Howard, though. I have to speak with the other carers, but I think his time may be near. We shall leave you to have that discussion then. I'm going to take Sarah to the Mord Souk if you have any errands that need doing. Well, I suppose there is one thing. Would you pick up a nectarine from the markets, please? Kessar's caravan was just passed through, and so Ronwan should have some fresh food. Come then, Sarah. There's something I want you to see. Right after we stop at Ronwan's stall, of course. Oh, my job's all under control now. Thank you. Go and spend some time with Alisaie. Search the nooks, search the crannies, search high, search low. Oh, sorry, did not see you there. Are you lost? Father says I must rest. That will not do. No, no. I will stop, but not yet. I need something to show for my efforts. All the scrabbling, all the searching, and still no shinies. You came here to tell me to stop, did you? If you help me find shinies, my job will be over. Your job will be over, and I can rest. Simple, yes. Look under that rubble and find whatever is there to be found. Maybe it'll be valuable, maybe not. Either way, let us keep searching until we get at least one shiny. Good shinies are too sturdy to be squished by falling rubble, so no need to worry about that. Do try not to squish yourself, though. There's the Amber Alert. What did you find? No more rubble, I hope. Oh, this looks very special. Such pretty patterns. I have never seen one like this before. But how much is it worth? I'm an expert in finding shinies, not a historian. Perhaps we should ask someone. Once we sell it, we can divide the profits between us. We worked as a team, so half for you, half for me. Fair is fair. Let's think about that nectarine, shall we? Oh, back again, are you? You need another taste of Ronwon's wares? Actually, we're looking to buy a nectarine. Do you have any in stock? Oh yes, nectarines, peaches, grapes, fresh and juicy. Given how richly you cracked your coin purse with me, I might still owe you food. Here, take this one, free of charge. Gods, I've never seen a merchant give away something for nothing before. How much coin did you spend here? Oh yes, I'll take a jar of honeyed worms as well. Oh no, they're not for me. It's an offering of sorts. And the worms, if you please. Only the best wrigglers for you. Come again, my friends. Right, that's our shopping chores taken care of. Let's head up past the Aetheryte to the main tower. The view I want to show you can only be seen from this very top. Oh, you need something? Here are your precious worms. That buys us the trip to the top of the tower, does it not? Glazed wrigglers! You actually brought them! I really shouldn't let you, but just this once, alright? Only once. Never fails. Shall we?
Look, over there, where the wall is broken. Do you see what lies beyond? That's what the land became after the light flooded in. An empty, white nothingness. Life cannot exist in such conditions. The primordial light would wreak havoc on the body's etheric balance. That nectarine you bought, it's Halric's favorite fruit. Most of the patients, Halric included, survived the attacks of powerful eaters. But their fate was sealed all the same. The monster's corruption has entered their bodies, and their very essence is being subsumed by light. The twisted state of the world itself just makes matters worse. Under normal circumstances, a person's ether naturally tends to equilibrium. But for these poor souls, the opposite is true. Sooner or later, every single one of them will turn. Tesleen and the patients, they all know this. They know what has to be done before the change goes too far, before the eater within takes over. The preferred method is mixing poison into their favorite food. In my time here, I've borne witness to a lot of last meals. I feel just as helpless as before. No matter how hard I fight, it's never enough. But it's a war I mean to wage, nonetheless. Speaking of wars, do you remember how I made you promise not to leave me and then promptly collapsed? Well, let's just say I had a few choice words for the Exarch concerning the timing of his summons. But even if the fault lay with someone else, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd abandon you on the battlefield. So I swore that I'd make up for my absence there by making a difference here. And that's what keeps me moving forward, even when things seem hopeless. On which note, it's time we headed back. The longer we keep Tesleen waiting, the harder this will be for her.
No one is allowed in here without permission, especially not as outsiders. I'm glad I was able to show you that. When it comes to understanding the catastrophe which fell the first, one glimpse of the empty wasteland beyond the wall is worth more than an hour of Urianger's lecturing. And I need you to know beyond a doubt that Tesleen has no other choice. The nectarine will be a kindness. It isn't just a threat posed to others. When a person becomes an eater, the pain appears to be excruciating. The carriers are truly fond of their wards and would spare them that suffering. It is their way of fighting back against a fate worse than death. Go ahead. I think she's been waiting for us. You're back. I hope you had a nice time. Did you manage to find a nectarine? Thank you. Alisaie's explained why I wanted this, has she? I can see it in your eyes. But we might not need it just yet. I spoke with the others and we've decided to keep an eye on Howard for now. Thanks to you, though, if this time does come suddenly, we'll be ready to send him on his way with a taste of happier days. Thank you for understanding. Well, nothing's going to happen for a little while yet, so let's see if we can't lighten the mood. We don't want our gloomy faces worrying the patients. I think it's time for that welcome meal, don't you? Take a seat, and I'll make us some nice stew.
Speak up if you'd like another helping. I made a little bit more than usual today.
And you've added something special to the broth, if I'm not mistaken.
Aye, well, it's not often we have visitors from the Crystarium, so I may have thrown in a few extra bits and bobs.
I'll have another bowl then.
That's what I like to hear. Give me a moment to warm up the pot. In a place like this, you learn to take what moments of happiness you can get. I remember when I first came here with my mother. She was showing the early signs. I knew there was no way to save her, but I just couldn't face what needed to be done. That's the way of it for most people. Why they travel from arms to stay here. Beaten, broken souls come to wait out the inevitable, to receive the mercy of a painless death. When my mother finally left this world, I was mad with grief, but also thankful that her passing was a peaceful one. It's never easy, ending a life you've cared for, even when you believe they go on to a better place. I often find myself wishing the Warrior of Darkness would come and do that part for me.
The Warrior of Darkness?
You've never heard the tale? I'm not sure where it began, but every child in Norvrent could tell you a version of it. Warrior of Darkness, servant of death, take care of our souls at our dying breath. Let sinners and eaters of sin go with thee, that all may return to the sunless sea. Well, that's the version I was taught anyway. It's just an old bedtime story. He's certainly never deigned to visit us here.
Which is a good thing, surely. He sounds rather ominous.
Do you think so? I always liked the idea that he treated every soul the same, even the Sin Eaters.
They're coming.
Desleen! Have you seen Halric? I swear, I only took my eyes off him for a moment.
This is my fault. The patients were acting strangely and let it distract me. Where could he be gone? Sarah, Alisaie, we have to go look for Halric. I don't know what's got into him, but if he's wandering out there alone. Well, assigned search area isn't split up. Any idea where he might be headed? No, he's never done anything like this before. But it can't be a coincidence that the other patients are suddenly so agitated. They can sense something. In any case, let's search for it close to the inn. Halric isn't very sure on his feet, so he won't have gone far. I'll search the east side. Please, Halric. Please be alright. I'll cover the north and west then. You take everything from here to the south.
Any sign of him? No luck then. But he surely can't have gone far. We should keep looking. The Sin Eaters are out in force, and if we don't find him soon, you can be sure they will. Did you see the size of that thing? It must be one of the nasty ones. Wherever it's going, it can only mean trouble. After it!
There it is!
Is that...
Oh no! Halric!
We have to run!
Tesseline! No!
We all deserve happiness, wherever we can find it. The time left to you is precious. No one should die in pain. Mother, I...
No!
Forgive me, Alisaie.
I'm sorry, Sarah. I tried to tell the carriers what happened, but I can't be the shoulder they lean on. Not like this. swear. Cecily was always so cheery with the patients, telling them not to be scared, that there wouldn't be any pain. Of all the people in the world to suffer such a fate. I imagine you're just as shocked as the rest of us. Sorry, I appreciate what you're doing here. Me, I can barely... I don't have the words. Without a body, we can't even give her a proper burial. And she cared about that sort of thing. About giving the people the chance to say their goodbyes. Alisaie. Thank you. What you're doing, it means a lot to them. To me. Sorry to interrupt. We realized we hadn't thanked you for rescuing Halric. You weren't hurt at all, were you? Hurt? There wasn't even a fight. I was too late, too slow. And I thought I could protect you. You can't blame yourself for things beyond your control. You brought Halric back safe and sound. No one could have done any more. I'm sorry, but I've come to a decision. I won't be continuing my role here. I hope you'll be able to forgive me for me leaving you, and that you will delay Halric's last meal for as long as you possibly can. Not until it's too late, of course. Just give him what time you can. We always do. Of course. She would have done the same. Farewell, Halric. Keep Jesslyn's words close to your heart. Wait, you're leaving this very moment. I understand how you must feel, but surely this is a bit hasty. Do you have anywhere to go? I have a destination in mind, yes. And a purpose. This damned light, building without cease, is the reason we can't save those corrupted by the eaters. But if we corrected the balance, even if it were only little by little, even if it took years, it would surely make things better. Now hold on there. Everyone knows there's too much light, but how could you ever hope to get rid of it? You'd have to change the whole world. That's right. We should return to the Crystarium. I may not be able to repel eaters on my own, but I can still use the skills I've gained here to hurt them. Sarah, good to see you again. Looks like you've a story or two to tell. But since you started to get back to the Crystarium. Forgive me, Sarah. I couldn't stay there a moment longer. But I was serious about what I said. While the men and women at the end were battled against the spite against kindness, I must fight it my own way. With steel. Miss Alisaie, is there anything I can get you? You switched with Amaro. I need to return to the Crystarium immediately. As you wish. Remind me to wear goggles if you ever fly out over Amarang again. I've barely gotten the sand up in my face. It did help clear my head at least. I think we're ready to meet with the XIV. We need to talk about how we're going to wipe the sin at Alisaie, shall we? Business of the Crystal XIV. Just say the word and I will happily escort you to the outfit. I see you were reunited with the Alisaie, but dare say you found little else to celebrate in Amarang. Thank you for seeking me out, Sarah. It meant a lot to have you there at my side. I was tempted to set off again the moment you had decided upon a direction, but you still have to visit Alvino, haven't you? If I know my brother, he'll be on the cusp of discovering something vital to our success, if he hasn't already. I'm content to stay here and consider our options for the time being. Don't keep me waiting too long, eh? Whenever I come to the Crystarium, the sands of Amarang seem a world away. And yet they both lie under the same wretched sky.